Have you ever been told your creatinine levels are high? That cold rush of fear you feel in your stomach is not just in your head. It isn't just a number on a blood test. It's your kidneys waving a red flag, a warning that waste is building up in your body, and the danger could be much closer than you think. Most people immediately cut down on red meat. They avoid the salt shaker. But here's the shocking truth. Some of the very summer vegetables you eat every week can silently push creatinine even higher. And when that happens, the consequences are not small. Swelling that makes your shoes feel tight, irregular heartbeats that strike without warning, and kidney stones so painful patients say they're worse than childbirth. I'm Dr. Johnny, and in today's video, I'll walk you through the 5 summer vegetables that may look healthy on your plate, but can quietly overload your kidneys. More importantly, I'll show you safer, kidney-friendly swaps, options that protect your health without forcing you to give up flavor. Because you don't need to live in fear of food. You just need to understand which ones are secretly raising the pressure inside your body. So stay with me. What you're about to hear could change the way you look at your dinner table forever. And let's start with one of the most common vegetables in every American kitchen. A food you probably ate this week. It seems harmless, but it's quietly raising your potassium levels with every bite. I'm talking about tomatoes. Tomatoes are everywhere in American kitchens. You toss them into salads, blend them into pasta sauce, spread them over pizza, or sip them in juice on a hot summer day. They look harmless, refreshing, even healthy. But when your blood tests show high creatinine, that bowl of tomatoes could quietly be pushing your kidneys into overload. I once worked with a patient who swore she was eating clean. No red meat, no fried food, just plenty of vegetables. But her potassium levels kept climbing. The culprit wasn't what she expected, it was her daily tomato juice at breakfast, something she thought was perfectly safe. And she isn't alone. Many people facing kidney issues don't realize that even so-called healthy choices can backfire. Here's why. A single cup of raw tomatoes contains around 427 milligrams of potassium. For a healthy person, the kidneys filter that out without stress. But weak kidneys can't keep up. The result is potassium building up in the blood, a condition called hyperkalemia. And hyperkalemia is no small issue. It can cause muscle weakness, sudden heart rhythm changes, and in severe cases, cardiac arrest. The National Kidney Foundation has long warned that tomato products are one of the hidden sources of excess potassium for CKD patients. And it doesn't stop there. Tomatoes are also rich in oxalates. These compounds combine with calcium inside the body, forming sharp crystals that can turn into kidney stones. If you've ever known someone who has passed a stone, you know the agony. It's often described as more painful than childbirth. Add processed tomato products like ketchup or canned sauce, and the risk multiplies. That's because manufacturers load them with sodium to preserve shelf life. Too much sodium pulls water into the blood, raises blood pressure, and forces the kidneys to hold on to more fluid, leading to swelling in the legs and sleepless nights from frequent trips to the bathroom. So what's the smarter move? Swap tomatoes with red bell peppers. 1 cup has only about 157 milligrams of potassium, 3 times less than tomatoes, yet it's loaded with vitamin C and antioxidants. Roast them, slice them into wraps, or even blend them into a creamy roasted pepper dip. Zucchini is another safe swap, adding bulk without the heavy potassium load. Even a simple zucchini sandwich can bring the same satisfaction without harming your kidneys. Now here's the mistake I see too often. People believe sun-dried tomatoes are safer because the water's removed. In reality, they're even more concentrated, packing a dangerous punch of potassium in every bite. The same goes for tomato juice, which compresses the potassium from several tomatoes into a single glass. That healthy drink could be the very reason your creatinine stays high. But just knowing about tomatoes isn't enough, because there's another summer vegetable, one that most people proudly call a superfood, yet it can silently push your creatinine even higher. And that's where things get truly surprising. You've just learned how something as simple as a tomato can overload weak kidneys. But what if I told you that the next vegetable is even trickier? It's often praised as a superfood, blended into smoothies, tossed into salads, or folded into omelets. Yes, I'm talking about spinach. I once had a patient in her 60s who thought she was making the perfect healthy breakfast every day. She blended spinach with almond milk and a banana, proud of her green smoothie habit. But her blood test told a different story, potassium levels shooting up, creatinine climbing higher. She couldn't understand how a food that health magazines call a miracle vegetable was quietly stressing her kidneys. Here's the hidden danger. A single cup of raw spinach has about 167 milligrams of potassium. Not too alarming at first glance, but when you cook spinach, the leaves shrink dramatically, and suddenly that same cup carries more than 800 milligrams of potassium. Think about that. What looks like a handful of sautéed spinach is the potassium equivalent of multiple raw servings. And for kidneys already struggling, that concentrated dose is like fuel on a fire. Spinach also carries oxalates, natural compounds that bind with calcium to form crystals inside the kidneys. Over time, those crystals grow into stones, causing stabbing pain and blocking urine flow, which pushes creatinine even higher. And as if that wasn't enough, spinach is high in purines. Purines break down into uric acid, and when uric acid builds up, it triggers gout flare-ups and adds even more strain on fragile kidneys. So what can you do instead? Swap spinach with kale or lettuce. A single cup of lettuce has only about 60 milligrams of potassium, much safer for anyone monitoring creatinine. Kale brings antioxidants and fiber, but with far less oxalate than spinach. Try blending kale with apple and unsweetened almond milk for a refreshing smoothie that supports your kidneys instead of burdening them. Or make a crunchy lettuce wrap for lunch. It's simple, safe, and delicious. Don't fall into the trap of thinking frozen or organic spinach makes it better. The potassium and oxalates don't disappear just because the label says organic. And spinach juice. That's one of the worst mistakes. It delivers oxalates and potassium in a concentrated form that hits your bloodstream fast. Now here's the truth. Avoiding spinach is a smart move, but it's only part of the story. Because another vegetable one you've likely grilled at a summer barbecue carries a hidden load of potassium and phosphorus that can quietly chip away at your kidney health. And that's where things get even more concerning. Spinach may have shocked you with its hidden potassium load, but there's another summer favorite that sneaks onto the dinner table almost every week. You'll see it grilled at barbecues, mixed into salads, and even popped as a movie snack. I'm talking about corn. I remember a gentleman in his 70s who came to me frustrated. He had cut down on salt, limited his red meat, and even stopped eating spinach after his doctor warned him. Yet his creatinine wouldn't budge. After reviewing his food log, the culprit was obvious. He was eating corn in 3 different forms: corn on the cob at dinner, cornflakes in the morning, and popcorn at night. What looked like innocent variety was quietly stacking up potassium and phosphorus far beyond what his kidneys could handle. Here's the science. A single medium ear of corn carries around 250 milligrams of potassium. That number may not look outrageous, but combined with other meals throughout the day, it adds up fast. And when your kidneys are already struggling, they can't clear out potassium efficiently. The result, higher blood potassium, raising the risk of heart rhythm problems that can appear out of nowhere. Corn also brings another challenge: phosphorus. Natural phosphorus in foods is one thing, but corn-based processed products like chips, tortillas, and cereals are often loaded with phosphate additives. Unlike natural forms, these additives absorb almost 100% into your bloodstream, pulling calcium out of your bones and stressing the kidneys. Johns Hopkins specialists warn that phosphorus additives are among the most damaging ingredients for anyone with chronic kidney disease. And don't forget the starch. Corn is a starchy vegetable, breaking down quickly into sugar-spiking blood glucose. For people with diabetes or insulin resistance, those spikes directly damage the delicate blood vessels in the kidneys, speeding up decline. Even if you don't have diabetes, repeated spikes strain your system and add unnecessary pressure. So what can you do? Cauliflower is one of the smartest swaps. With only 195 milligrams of potassium per cup, it delivers the texture and versatility without the hidden risks. Roast it for a smoky flavor, mash it as a low-potassium side dish, or chop it into tiny pieces to mimic corn kernels in a salad. It's filling, tasty, and much safer for your kidneys. But here's the catch. Many people assume that simply limiting corn to just a cob is safe. The truth is, portion control matters more than most realize. And when you combine corn with butter, salt, or processed toppings, you're adding sodium and fat that multiply the strain on your kidneys. And here's where it gets even more important. Because corn isn't the only grilled favorite hiding risks. Another summer vegetable, spongy and shiny, absorbs oil like a sponge and can load your body with more than just potassium. Stick with me because eggplant brings a whole new set of challenges you need to know about. Corn might seem like a harmless side dish, but let's move to another summer favorite that looks elegant on the plate, yet hides a different danger. I'm talking about eggplant. That glossy purple skin, that soft grilled texture, many people love it. But for kidneys under stress, eggplant can become a silent trap. I once spoke with a woman in her late 50s who adored Mediterranean cooking. She made eggplant parmesan at least twice a week, believing it was healthier than red meat. Yet every visit to her doctor showed worsening swelling in her ankles and rising creatinine. She couldn't connect the dots until she learned what eggplant does inside a weakened body. Here's the science. 1 cup of cooked eggplant contains about 230 milligrams of potassium. That doesn't sound extreme, but when your kidneys can't filter properly, even moderate potassium builds up fast. And excess potassium is not something you want to gamble with. It disrupts muscle contractions, including your heart rhythm. But potassium isn't the only problem. Eggplant's spongy texture acts like a sponge for oil. Fry it and it soaks up fat like a paper towel dipped in grease. That means a plate of fried eggplant, or eggplant parmesan, becomes a calorie bomb, adding weight gain and metabolic stress that your kidneys don't need. Many traditional recipes also salt eggplant slices before cooking to reduce bitterness. But that habit piles on sodium, another blow to already fragile kidneys. Even its natural compounds can backfire. Eggplant skin contains niacin, an antioxidant that sounds good on paper. But when kidney function is compromised, byproducts of even healthy compounds can linger, adding to the filtration burden. So what's the safer choice? Cabbage, green or red, is one of the best swaps. A single cup has only about 119 milligrams of potassium, plus vitamin K and detox supporting compounds. Toss it into a stir-fry, shred it into slaw, or use it in wraps. It's crunchy, refreshing, and kidney-friendly. Zucchini is another great stand-in if you're craving that grilled texture, but without the oil-soaking problem. The real danger comes when eggplant is paired with cheese, breadcrumbs, or heavy sauces. That's when potassium, phosphorus, sodium, and fat collide to create a perfect storm for kidney damage. And don't be fooled by frozen, breaded eggplant meals. They're packed with preservatives and additives that quietly add even more phosphorus. Now here's the part you can't ignore. Because eggplant is risky, yes, but there's one more vegetable often tossed into summer salads or juiced for detox that can spike your creatinine faster than almost anything else. Stick with me because beets may be the most surprising culprit of all. Eggplant might have shocked you with its oil-soaking nature, but there's another vegetable that wears a healthy disguise while quietly pushing creatinine higher. Bright, colorful, and often labeled as a detox food, it's the beet. I remember a retired teacher who came to me, convinced she had found the perfect way to cleanse her body. Every morning she drank a tall glass of beet juice, proud that she was fueling herself with antioxidants. But within weeks, her lab results showed potassium climbing, blood pressure swinging wildly, and creatinine refusing to drop. What she thought was healing her was in fact making her kidneys work overtime. Here's the science. 1 cup of raw beets contains about 442 milligrams of potassium, almost 4 times more than cucumbers. For healthy kidneys, that might not matter. But for weakened kidneys, that flood of potassium can trigger hyperkalemia, leading to muscle weakness, irregular heartbeats, or even sudden cardiac arrest. Beets are also loaded with oxalates, which bind with calcium to form crystals. Those crystals can turn into kidney stones, blocking urine flow and raising creatinine even higher. The Harvard School of Public Health ranks beets among the top oxalate-rich vegetables, making them one of the worst choices for anyone with kidney issues. And then there are nitrates. In healthy bodies, nitrates from beets can convert into nitric oxide, relaxing blood vessels and lowering blood pressure. But when kidneys are impaired, nitrates and their byproducts can build up instead of being cleared, leading to unstable blood pressure and more stress on already fragile kidneys. So what can you do instead? Radishes are an excellent alternative. A cup of sliced radishes has just 135 milligrams of potassium, 3 times less than beets, yet they deliver antioxidants that protect kidney cells. Cucumbers are another great option, packed with water to keep you hydrated without the heavy mineral load. Try a cucumber and radish salad drizzled with olive oil and dill for a refreshing side dish that supports rather than harms your kidneys. The real danger comes from beet juice cleanses. One glass can deliver the potassium of several whole beets at once, flooding your system in a way that's dangerous if your kidneys can't keep up. Pickled beets are no safer. Packed with salt and vinegar, they raise blood pressure and irritate sensitive kidneys. But just knowing about beets is still not enough, because food is only one side of the equation. There's a daily habit often ignored that can quietly make or break your kidney health at night. And what I'm about to reveal could be the single change that helps your kidneys rest while you sleep. You've just seen how beets can overload your kidneys. But here's the part most people never think about. It's not just what you eat, it's how and when you drink water. This daily habit can quietly decide whether your creatinine rises overnight or gives your kidneys a chance to recover. I remember a man in his early 60s who thought he was doing the right thing by chugging 3 big glasses of water before bed. He wanted to flush his kidneys overnight. Instead, he was waking up swollen, exhausted, and making multiple trips to the bathroom at night. His kidneys weren't getting rest. They were being forced to work overtime while his body was trying to sleep. Here's why timing matters. When you overload your kidneys with too much water all at once, especially late at night, you force them into high gear just when they should be slowing down. That stress can make creatinine levels rise instead of fall. On the other hand, when you underdrink all day and then try to catch up in the evening, your kidneys face the same sudden pressure. The smarter approach is balance. Aim for 6 to 8 cups of water spread evenly from morning until evening. Sip slowly, don't gulp. And about 2 to 3 hours before bed, taper off your fluids so your kidneys can rest through the night. That way you stay hydrated without waking up with swollen ankles or interrupted sleep. Doctors at the National Institute of Diabetes and Digestive and Kidney Diseases stress that steady hydration, not sudden overload, is what truly protects your kidneys. Pair this with light activity after dinner, like a short walk or gentle stretching. It helps your body distribute fluids, evenly reducing swelling and easing the nighttime workload on your kidneys. But even this isn't the full story, because while smart hydration gives your kidneys a break, the ultimate key is knowing exactly which foods to avoid and what to swap them with. So let's pull it all together with a simple recap and a message of hope you won't want to miss. Remember, managing high creatinine is not about perfection. It's about small, steady changes that protect your kidneys day by day. Even swapping just one risky vegetable for a safer option can lighten the load on your body and give you more energy. So don't feel discouraged. Every little step counts. If this video has been helpful, make sure to save it for later and subscribe to Heal so you never miss the latest medical tips and kidney health updates designed for you and your loved ones. And above all, hold on to hope. Your kidneys may be struggling now, but with the right choices, you can support them, reduce stress, and live with strength and confidence again.